Christmas. Oh, hiya guys, didn't see you there. I was just taking a quick look through 2020. It's been a bit of a year, hasn't it? Let's reminisce. So it's easy to look at me and it's easy to look at my channel if you haven't gone way back into my videos and think that I've always been in tip-top health. I've never been through anything that's really tough with cystic fibrosis. And in January this year, well, started December and January, I got influenza A. Well, influenza A, I think it was a bit of COVID, but it basically shut my whole body down and nearly killed me. There was a few days in hospital where I thought I was going to die. I spent 3 weeks in there. My lung function went to, I think it dropped to around 30%. Like it says in the book, it was a difficult time, but I dealt with it the same way as I deal with everything. I see the bright side and the funny side, and I set myself little targets. So when I first had to put that oxygen mask on, it devastated me. I was doing everything in my power to make sure that I didn't go on it, but then I just had to realise that my body could not fight this on its own and I couldn't breathe anymore. So I went on it, and then soon after that I just started sending Liv glamour shots of it, because the only way to really get through something is to accept it, deal with it mentally, and then try and overcome it. And that's what I did. So that was my December and January. Funny thing is, I did a video in December when I was ill at the time anyway, saying that 2020 was going to be my year. So I got out of hospital about February time, just in time for Valentine's Day. Me and Olivia had booked to go to Blackpool and have a really good time. We like to have a couple of glasses, maybe bottles of wine, have a meal, and just go and do stupid stuff like the arcade, Madame Tussauds, go on a few nightclubs, come home pissed, eat a kebab, go to bed. That's our perfect kind of Valentine's night. Anyway, obviously I was too ill at the time to even think about drinking. When I get ill, the first thing I stop is any kind of drinking, because it starts mentally scaring me that it's going to make me worse. And it always takes me a little bit of time to recover from that. And what I loved about that was we went to Blackpool, we went to the arcade, we went to get something to eat, Madame Tussauds. We had a lovely night and we had KFC in bed. So just before lockdown, we went on our last date night, but that was the last time we actually went out for a restaurant meal and a normal-ish night out. Corona was threatening to come around a little bit there, so we were still a bit wary, but it weren't to the point where, you know, everyone was scared of it. We just thought it was this distant thing from China. It felt really weird at first, because we kept doing date nights and we kept doing them inside, and we kept sort of, you know, having bits of drinks and food and doing different themed things, but it genuinely felt like the end of the world. But at the same time, it was actually quite nice. In April, we had my birthday. Liv organised a massive party for me and her inside the house. But to be honest with you, it's probably one of my nicest birthdays I've had, because we had a real sense of closeness. There was no urgency to go and do anything. We just had a right laugh. And like I said, I've been to Vegas for my birthdays. Last year I was in Vegas for my birthday, but although that was amazing, this actually compares to it, because it was nice and it was intimate and it was just me and Liv. In the theme of entertaining ourselves over the course of the next few months, we did quite a few videos for ourselves and for other people to lift them up. So a lot of them went on Facebook, some of them went on YouTube, and one of them was a fancy dress surprise. So we didn't know what each other was actually going to wear, and that was hilarious, because Liv isn't the type of girl who makes an idiot out of herself in terms of outfits. You know, she'll always go for a sexy Catwoman or something like that. I'm more of a human toilet kind of guy. I'll make myself look like a right idiot, as long as it shows my muscles. But that day we both just went absolutely crazy and got these blow-up outfits, and there's a video knocking around of that somewhere, and that was one of the funniest days we've had in lockdown. We did a bit of crazy golf. I got loads of cardboard that we'd collected from, you know, all your Amazon purchases, Everyone's getting like 15 Amazon parcels a day, so we had plenty of cardboard, and I made a little crazy golf out of it, which was amazing. I broke my ankle. I genuinely broke I think it's my foot. It's more my foot than my ankle. Liv made a cheese pizza and had a few beers, and I jumped up in pure excitement and I just crumpled under it. You should have heard the pop, it was disgusting. Anyway, like usual, it all bubbled up and me, got bruised everywhere, and it was in the middle of a lockdown, so I didn't go and get it seen to, because I thought, you know, I'll just get over it like I tend to do with everything, try my hardest to get over it on my own. It still hurts a little bit now, and that's what, 7 months later, 6-7 months later, but it's healed. I can feel it broken, but it's healed in a way that it's fused together now, so, you know, I just mashed my foot for life, but it was a good night. And then probably one of the worst things, well, probably the worst thing to happen in this lockdown and this year, is our cat Jack roamed too far from home. Now there's a busy road behind us, which is usually jam-packed with cars, and obviously because of COVID and the lockdown and people not travelling, that road got really quiet. And obviously, you can only really speculate about this, but I think he's got used to that road being quiet, he's crossed it, and he's never found his way back. So we put posters out, we looked for him, we did pretty much every single thing we could. I personally, I've got no regrets about what we did and how far we looked. He was found about an hour away on an industrial estate. Unfortunately, he'd been run over, and he was obviously my cat for 9 years, and I absolutely loved him, and that was really difficult. So COVID hasn't taken any people away from me, but it's definitely taken my cat. And when it comes to Jack, it was like a son to me and Olivia, which is weird to say, but it was a beautiful cat, and that was a difficult time. We was actually booked in to go to Vegas on the 16th of the 6th, 2020, and obviously Corona cancelled that. At that time we were still getting over Jack dying, so we still tried having a little Vegas night, which we had planned, but it didn't really go that well. We was a bit upset during it, and you know, we just got on with it. We had a good night, but obviously there was a massive stain on it, since we should have been in Vegas on a genuine casino machine, and also our cat had just died. But again, you've got to make the best of any situation. We couldn't just mope, so we pushed through it. Once we'd finally got over Jack, well, not over Jack, but we didn't feel like it was a betrayal, we got another cat. Well, we put a deposit down on another cat, and that was Atlas, our little British short hair. Obviously he's got big boots to fill because Jack was outstanding, one of the most beautiful cats I've ever seen, but Atlas is slowly but surely catching up. And you know, from the death of Jack, something lovely's come out of it. We've got a new cat called Atlas. I wanted to call him Jack 2.0, but obviously it's too close to home, and you don't want to be reminded every single day of your dead cat when you look at your new cat. Because of Jack's unfortunate accident on the road and the fact that Atlas is a British short hair, there's no way I was going to let him outside, so I spent quite a bit of time building a banging catio, which, to be honest with you, he's shat himself every time we've put him near it, so he's not actually been in it. So that was a colossal waste of time and money. But we've bought him a lead and a harness, and we've been sort of walking him around the garden. So this time next year, when it gets hot and we need to blast all the windows open, that little shit's going in there, like it or not. We couldn't see anyone else and we're still self-isolating, but we managed to get away for a weekend in a whole season's cabin with a hot tub. I've wanted to go on a hot tub for ages, but no one's ever told me, ever told me, that it's a Pseudomonas breeding ground. So when we was actually in there in the hot tub, I got a text off one of my friends who's got a son with cystic fibrosis, so she was like, how can you in a hot tub? Isn't it really, really bad? And that sunk the shit out of my hot tub dreams. I mean, I stayed in there, but then I spent a few days flapping about, you know, it killing me. But that was still an amazing time. Me and Liv had an amazing time together, did a lot of good stuff, but we didn't go into any restaurants or have any, you know, activities that we'd usually do. However, again, made the best of a difficult situation. I think that's the common theme here. We've made the best out of a tough situation and actually turn this year into quite a good and interesting year. Like that, with going to barbecues with mum and dad's, social distance, we've had barbecues, we've stuck to social distancing, you know, to like the rule. We've not been near each other, no one's hugged each other, we've always brought separate food. When we go to the toilet, we've not touched anything, apart from, you know, we'll go there. But we've still had a bit of family time within the rules and boundaries. So you might know that me and Olivia have started the IVF process, and this was a bit of a difficult time for Liv, and it was a difficult time for me, but I've got this sort of attitude that nothing's going to stop it, and if there's something big enough to stop us doing it, then we adapt and we move on. You know what I mean? And if needs be, we go to adoption, because if we want a child, we will have a child one way or the other. And Olivia was worried that when she was diagnosed with the heart-shaped womb, that it would have a high chance of miscarrying the baby, or, you know, getting in the way of us getting pregnant. So she was kind of concerned that I'd feel disappointed in that. But to me, that's like the pot calling the kettle black, because the reason why we're doing all this at the start is me, and I don't feel guilty for that, but I appreciate the fact that anything Olivia does is perfect because she's doing it for me, and I'm putting her through a lot more than she'll ever put me through. Her life is a lot more difficult because of me than my life will ever be because of her. And I think that kind of explains my feelings on that. It doesn't matter what happens, it doesn't matter how heart-shaped a womb is, it doesn't matter as long as you're together and you support each other. As far as it goes, it's actually not too bad, and there's a very low chance of it even affecting pregnancy anyway. But there's a couple of weeks there where we was both shitting ourselves. A full week of competitions where the winner got a free takeaway off the other. I lost somehow. Them videos are on YouTube. No one's watched them. I'm not surprised, but me and Liv loved it. We've had a wine night, garden drinks, and then possibly the nicest thing to come out of this year was Kaftrio. And I don't think, if you've seen my channel, I don't think I need to explain or even go into what that's done for me, what that's done for Olivia, and what that's done for the year. It's absolutely rocketed this year. This year would not have been a bad year anyway, but that Kaftrio giving me this much life, this much energy, and a new chance is absolutely outstanding. The only downside is that I can't go and have this energy and try it out in the real world. But then the upside again is that I've had such a long rest, and I'm so well rested now and ready to go, that when I get back into the world, I'm going to fucking come out swinging. Sid and Molly are cute as well. Got Evelyn involved in Halloween, had a bit of an Halloween party. I got absolutely mashed. Liv says I was an arsehole all night. Not in a bad way, just too drunk and too excited. I spent about 6 days being sick after that, and that was the first night I'd been drunk after Kaftrio, so I think it was about 2 months that I hadn't drunk for, and I drank and I went hard and I got smashed and just made a dick out of myself. We tried our hardest to make it really, really nice, and to be honest, it's been a lovely Christmas. We had a massive takeaway, we had a few drinks, and then we did go around to my mum and dad's social distanced. It didn't feel the same, but at the end of the day, we had loads of presents under the tree from family. We'd give loads of presents out. We're happy, healthy, and we're alive. We're in a better position this year than we was last year, because last year, this time last year, Christmas, I was just about to go into hospital and fight off the biggest infection of my life. So this Christmas has been amazing. I also decided to propose to Liv, and there's a video on YouTube of that as well. So, what's the point of this video then? The point of this video is, this year has been tough for everyone. And at the start of this year, I said this was going to be my year, and I was all cocky about it, saying I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. We had loads of good stuff planned, and then it all went tits up, and everything got difficult, and everything changed, and everything was a struggle. However, through positive thinking and keeping mine and Liv's minds active and trying just to live a bit of normality, I would say I've had the best year probably of my life overall. I will not think back on this year, and I hope Liv doesn't think back on this year and think it was the worst year we've ever had, because I've got a Kaftrio, I've done loads of good stuff, I've had loads of memories. There's loads of memories on Facebook, there's loads of memories on YouTube, there's loads of memories up here. More importantly, me and Olivia are happy, healthy, and we've got everything to look forward to. Things have been delayed, changed, but it's nothing that we can't pick up. So what I would say is have a think back through your year, and don't just think of the hard times, think of the good times, because there'll be plenty of them that when you look and you reflect on them and you think back, you've probably had a banger. And if you've not, you're still here, you're still alive, you're still watching a little bald man do YouTube videos. So what else, what more do you want? Next year will be your year.